Hey, everybody, I'm John Granato, and that's Lance Zierlein. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so that you can get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. For as much as Dusty has been criticized during the season, he was criticized pretty heavily sometimes. Dusty is seriously outmanaged. He outmanaged Tony La Russa and Alex Cora in the first 2 rounds of the postseason. Will this continue to be a year-by-year decision with the Astros and Dusty? What Jim Crane has talked about already, Lance, about bringing him back, okay, for next year. I think Dusty deserves to be back next year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, we can all say, no, we don't like this, we don't like this. And there have been things that I haven't liked, but the team likes him. They're to a World Series. They were close to a World Series. They were in a Game 7 last year. They're in a World Series this year. Dusty Baker's a manager both times. He managed them through difficult times, challenging times emotionally and otherwise, through a ton of just debris that he had to sift through. And I think maybe he's that guy to get through that. Now, I think if you bring Dusty back, and I do think Dusty's coming back, and my guess is the team's already made that decision. It's going to be Dusty's decision. But if that's the case, we're going to have these conversations all the time about Dusty Baker because we had him at times this year. But does he deserve to come back? I think if he wants to come back, you bring him back. I don't see a harm in it. I don't love all the moves he makes, but I do think that he believes or works with their analytics department and the same way A.J. Hinch did. And I think Dusty maybe has a little more old school that he imparts that maybe will be good for this team too. And listen, if you lose Carlos Correa, which we both think is going to happen, you're going to go through another set of challenges to figure out how to fill that void that's in there. And maybe Dusty will be the right guy to help facilitate that, and we'll see who steps forward.
Well, I don't think there's any question. He was the right guy to take over after AJ and through the scandal. He's been a player's coach. He's always got his guys' backs. He has been a calming influence he's seen everything. He's composed.
Toothpick.
You and he got a
gloves.
Fitbit that you text each other. Gloves, yeah. Toothpick. He's got it all.
He's got everything you could want in a manager.
Well, does he have it all? Because I've got it all. Because I've got Coors Light. I've got cold, clean, crisp, and refreshing Coors Light, the official beer of watching the World Series. For me, it's the official beer. Make it your official beer of watching. I don't care if you're watching Dancing with the Stars or you're watching the World Series or whatever it is that you want to watch, okay? Make it Coors Light. Whatever you want to do, golf, poker, what else is there to do? Do it with a cold, clean, crisp, refreshing Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Not a lot of people besides Houston fans rooting for Houston, but there are a ton of people rooting for Dusty. Overwhelmingly, the narrative is more about Dusty trying to get his first ring as a manager than anything else about the Astros. How brilliant of a move was it to bring in Dusty to serve as the face of the team as well as the calming voice through all of this hostility that the Astros have been facing?
You always ask me questions and I answer. I'll just flip the question on you. What do you think?
I think it was great. I wasn't crazy but look at the older managers. Snitker is 66. He's in the World Series. Tony La Russa made it to the playoffs. He's 180. I don't know how old he is. Dusty is a pawpaw is 72 years old. These guys while we're all analytics, oh boy, analytics is so important and everything else. How about knowing baseball? How about knowing how to handle? How about guys that have been in the game forever and have seen everything and can handle every situation? And there have been plenty of situations, I'm sure, that in that locker room that Dusty had to handle and help his team get through. So was he the perfect choice? The answer is yes.
In the NFL, you got to be a delegator sometime, unless you're a play caller. So you got to find the right coordinators, and you delegate authority, and you try to, you try to just maintain the focus. In basketball, it's about soothing egos, and you've got to be able to work with this guy's ego and that guy's ego, and can you get them to work together, and how much can you get them to do what you want them to do? In baseball, it's 162 games, and you are like, I don't want to say a dad or a father figure, but you're the one who has to right the ship when it's tough, because you're going to go through some emotional highs and lows. You're going to go through hot streaks. You're going to go through cold streaks. It's how you handle that adversity. And I thought A.J. Hinch was the perfect manager to bring a young team. I used to joke that AJ Hinch was like a father figure. He just was that calm dad who would, I'm not mad at you. I'm just really disappointed with you. But Dusty, we call him Pawpaw Dusty lovingly, but he's got some of that same, that same, hey, but he's got a little bit more fire, it seems like sometimes, than AJ, but he's got the same kind of mentality where the high highs and the low lows, he doesn't let you get too high and too low. He understands how to keep it centered. And I think that's the real key about baseball managers. It doesn't just get down to the calls that you make on, it's how do you make the team feel when they come to the park? Are they relaxed and loose because you are like that, or are they tight and stressed because you're like that?
No, and we've seen Dusty. We saw the video of him and Tony La Russa going back and forth. It was before when he was with the Cubs and the Cardinals and all that stuff. But Dusty ain't. Hey, we've seen him on the mound yelling at pitchers, throw the bleeping ball. Dusty ain't afraid. And this team has kind of taken that on. Oh, you're going to say stuff about us? Watch this. Well, watch what we do here to you when you're giving us the business. And you know what? You do take on. And you know what? It's not such a bad way, a bad personality to take on. Dusty Baker's been around forever, and he's feisty. And you know what this team is? It's feisty.
Yeah.
And it's been a great, and it's the way that they've had to be through all the diversity that they've faced. So Dusty, perfect. Dusty, come on back next year. Win or lose, Dusty said he wants to come back. And I think he will be back. And you know what? You're welcome back, Paw Paw.